This April 13th, 2026 meeting of the Worcester Conservation Commission is now called to order. My name is Diane Frattoni, and I will be chairing this meeting. As part of this meeting, we will be holding hearings under the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act and regulations and the City of Worcester Wetlands Protection Ordinance and regulations. The commissioners are volunteers who serve to enforce these laws and regulations to protect specific values identified as being important to Massachusetts and the City of Worcester. Commission decisions are based on these laws and regulations and are not arbitrary or based on personal likes or dislikes. It is important to the Commission that these hearings are held in a fair and equitable way for all parties involved. This requires that discussion take place in a civil manner and that every individual in this meeting is treated respectfully. To facilitate this, the hearings take place in the order they are listed on the agenda. First, the applicant will present an overview of the project to the Commission. Next, staff will provide comments on the proposed work. Then the Commission will direct any questions it has to the applicant or staff. After the Commission is done questioning the applicant, the floor will be open to the public. Comments and questions must be directed to the chairperson, not to the applicant or their representative, and they must pertain to the regulations that the Commission oversees. For example, although you may have concerns over the traffic resulting from a particular project, the Conservation Commission does not regulate traffic, so traffic concerns will not be discussed in the meeting. Please note that while new points will be given ample time to present, repetitive comments will be cut short in the interest of having all parties be given an opportunity to speak. We ask that all applicants and members of the public please state their name and city or town of residence for the record. To manage remote participation and prevent disruptions, all participants are automatically blocked from unmuting themselves, turning on their video, or sending chat messages. For participants who would like to comment on an item on our agenda, we ask that you use the raise hand feature in Zoom during the discussion on that item. If you are joined by phone, you can raise your hand by pressing *9. Staff will then call on members of the public one at a time and give them permission to unmute themselves. If you're joined by phone, you will be able to unmute yourself by pressing *6. Would everyone please introduce themselves?
Eric Flint, Division of Planning and Regulatory Services.
Patty Bantu, Division of Planning and Regulatory Services.
Kevin Canton, Commissioner.
Stuart Kirshner, Commissioner.
Lindsay Nystrom, Commissioner.
First, are there any requests for continuances, postponements, or withdrawals?
Yes, we have 3 requests for postponement tonight. All of these are requests to postpone the public hearing to May 4th, 2026 and extend the constructive grant deadline to May 26, 2026. We have item number 10, 277 Airport Drive, item number 11, 337 Southwest Cutoff, and item number 12, 135 Goddard Memorial Drive. And again, those are all requests to postpone the public hearing to May 4th and extend the constructive grant deadline to May 26th.
Make a motion to postpone items 10, 11, and 12 as described.
Second.
Commissioner Canton?
Aye.
Commissioner Kirshner?
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom?
Aye.
Commissioner Frattoni? Aye. First order then of new business, a request for determination of applicability for 1 Salisbury Street, Moreland Street, and Old Brook Drive rights of way, and 629 and 633 Salisbury Street. Is there somebody online from the city for this project?
Yep.
Yes. My name is Steve Donay. I'm from Tate and Howard. We're the engineers working with the city on this project. So this is a water main project along the streets shown here. It's replacing an existing water main. Road work is going to be within the existing paved area. There's probably two bridge crossings. And yes, it's highlighted project location towards the top and a project location at the bottom. And they're going to be directional drilling under the river in both cases. So access pits are 60, 70 feet away from the edge of the water, and then it's just going underneath and come out the other side then. Anywhere near, in the buffer zones, there'll be straw wattles will be in place, silt sacks and catch basins just to prevent any debris getting into the waterways. Trenches will be backfilled end of every workday. Every Friday, temporary pavement will be installed. In the event of a heavy rainstorm or something else, temporary pavement may need to be installed prior to Friday.
Is that it from the applicant?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Should I have my
Staff,
video on? Sorry, should I have my video on for this? Sorry about that.
that's entirely up to you.
Oh, okay.
It's staff, any comments about this project?
Sure. First, I was just going to say that applicants are normally not able to turn on video, but I guess we have that setting set up for this meeting, so that's good. Yeah, so it's a relatively straightforward project from our perspective. The only kind of complicated piece of this is the horizontal directional drilling under the resource area. In our view, there's no impacts to land underwater body, given the fact that it's several feet below the bed of the stream. The commission's reviewed horizontal drilling semi-recently in a separate project. As part of that project, we had required that the contractor submit an inadvertent release contingency plan prior to doing the drilling component of the work. We would suggest a similar condition and a negative determination if the commission elects to go that route tonight. Our staff comments were pretty minimal, just related to the type of sediment barrier. I believe that has been addressed at this point with a revised plan, so we're all set at this point.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners, any questions or comments about the project? If there's none, I'd just like to ask the timing on each of these crossings. About how long do you expect it to take once you begin drilling, have the pipe in place and close everything back up?
I'm pretty sure they'll do each one in a day.
So you're already familiar with whatever the soil conditions are underneath these sites, and I think one of them, there's already a crossing, correct? Or
On, let me get the street wrong. Moreland Street. It actually is it's not underneath.
it's not.
It's not.
Okay.
So there might be like a day to prep, get ready, and then a day to install.
Right. So a minimum amount of time for this to be
Yes, yeah,
to be open.
yes.
I don't have any other questions. Is there a motion?
The
Just a
public
reminder
comments?
to, yeah.
Oh, sorry, public. I'm sorry. Is there anybody here online from the public? It's hard not looking out and seeing a room.
Just a reminder that in order to comment, you just raise your hand and then we'll call on you. I'm not seeing anyone.
I'll make a motion for a negative determination.
Second.
Commissioner Canton,
Aye.
Commissioner Kirschner,
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom,
Aye.
Commissioner Fatoni, aye. You are all set.
Okay, so you'll just send, I guess, a follow-up response.
Yeah, we'll be in touch with the determination once it's signed and issued.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
have a good night. Next item, request for determination of applicability, 47 Proctor Street.
Go ahead, say who you are and what you're doing. Hello, I've never done this before, but
You have help. Go ahead, John O'Rourke.
John O'Rourke.
Go
John,
ahead,
you're the applicant, right?
Oh, I am. I own the house and I have a
Okay.
retaining wall. So you guys can hear me. That's great.
Yes.
And there's trees that, the retaining wall of trees have gotten so big and they're like at a 45-degree angle. And the branches are right down, well, they were down in the water before the water came up 5 feet. So they're gonna have leaves. Okay, you see the pictures. And they're gonna crush these walls. These retaining walls are gonna take the whole backyard into Indian Lake. So I'm asking permission to have a crane come in, park on Proctor Street. It's like a 50 foot. They're gonna cut the trees probably 6 inches to a foot above, lift them up and bring them up to Proctor Street, chip them and get rid of them. But I mean, the wall is already cracking. What you're looking at right now, the water is probably 5 feet higher, and the branches, once those leaves come on and the waves start getting it going, the wall's coming down, no doubt about it. I don't even know what kind of trees they are. They're just horrible, ugly looking trees. And I mean, I'll plant trees, get them out of there. I love trees.
Okay, all right.
But
I got that.
we have to get these done before my yard goes away. It's a rental.
Understood. Understood. Thank you. Staff, any comments or questions about this project?
Yep. So staff met with them, Mr. O'Rourke on site to look at the trees. So there are essentially multiple stem box elders that are kind of dug into the wall. Their root systems are kind of dug into that wall at this point, and kind of leading out over Indian Lake. So yeah, we don't really have concerns. We do request that, some additional plantings be planted in that area. We're thinking maybe something along the lines of 3 shrubs and 2 trees be planted just to add some shading benefit to Indian Lake, that we'll be losing from the removal of these trees. In addition to the box elder, there's also a dead hemlock that was put on the request as well, in case Mr. O'Rourke wanted to take that out as well at some point in the next 3 years. I don't know if he wants to do it while he's doing the box elders, but yeah, so that's what I have from staff.
Thank you. Commissioners, any questions or comments about the project? No? Is there anyone here from the public who'd like to speak on it?
Another question.
I don't see any hands raised.
I'll make a motion for a negative determination, but with the inclusion of the staff requests for additional trees.
Second.
Commissioner Canton,
Aye.
Commissioner Kirschner,
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom,
Aye.
Commissioner Fertoni, aye. So Mr. O'Rourke, that means you're okay to remove the trees, with the understanding that you would be planting additional trees once these are out.
Correct. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question. I'm Joan O'Rourke and I'm his wife and I'm also an owner of the house. What if we have to do repairs to the wall after the trees come down? Do we need to come back here to the commission?
Yep, so you will have to come back to the commission with a separate application for that type of work.
Okay.
Yep, but you can definitely be in touch with us and we can happily walk you through what that process would be.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Now I'm
You're all
gonna
set.
meet some people to go out there. Do I have to notify you when I'm doing the job, or I got to get a Worcester Police Department, a crane, and just go down there, pick them up, and get them out of there, and then I'll dig some holes and plant some trees.
Nope, you're good to move forward. If the scope of work changes for any reason, if you're not able to do the crane, just let us know. But other than that, you should be good to go.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
Next item, number 3, 254R 504 Massasoit Road, 0 Sandra Drive, request for determination of applicability.
So I was asked to unmute, but hi, this is Linda Hutchins with Mass Audubon. We're actually going to have Tom Lutzenheiser speak for us tonight.
Okay, Tom, you should be able to speak at this point.
Good evening, everyone. Sure, if you can hear me.
Yes,
I'm unmuted.
you are.
Sorry about that. So I'm Tom Lutzenheiser, senior conservation ecologist with Mass Audubon. For our RDA this evening, we are requesting permission to perform some geotechnical studies at Broadmeadow Brook. This is on property where the city is the deed holder under the Conservation Commission. And this is in the context of getting preliminary information for the continued planning of a comprehensive wetland restoration project that will we are working on for the entire North Marsh area between Dunkirk Ave and around this Sandra Drive area. So at some point in the coming year or two, you'll be seeing a lot more information about this. But in the meantime, as we're working on, we have a preliminary design and we are working on developing permitting level plans to sort of kick the tires somewhat of our preliminary design. We are proposing various geotechnical studies, including seismic refraction studies, standard penetrating borings, and ground penetrating radar. And we are seeking permission this evening on those activities. We talked with various contractors providing those services and tried to minimize the temporary alteration that any of these surveys would affect the wetland. Primarily, the work will be centered on the existing Troiano Brookside Trail causeway that divides the wetland in two, as shown on this figure. And so, the ground penetrating radar work is really centered on trying to determine the exact location of the abandoned sewer line that is parallel to the causeway. And then once that's accomplished, we'll be able to conduct the seismic refraction survey and penetration tests, which will help us determine bedrock depth in the wetland, among other parameters, which are critical pieces of information for determining our design going forward. We submitted supplemental information on Friday. I'm not sure if the commission has had a chance to review that. It's included, diagrams of, this is a sketch of the drill rig. This is, I would say, medium. It's heavy equipment, but it's medium sized to try to allow it to operate on the site with as small a footprint as possible, primarily again from the existing causeway, and then as needed to a proposal, I believe, is to use timber matting if we need to operate or access areas in the wetland. You might know roughly half of the site is a dense common reed stand. So mats would be placed on that to allow the rig to access what it needs to close by the causeway to drill. Yeah, so happy to answer any questions. Christy Pollock from Princeton Hydro, our consultant, is available as well. Or Linda, if you have anything to add. We've reduced the number of borings proposed and are trying to just really keep this to as small an alteration, again, temporary as possible.
Any staff comments on the project?
I think Tom just gave a pretty good summary. Our comments were mainly in relation to the standard penetration borings, just given that that involves the heaviest machinery to get down within the wetland resource area. So we had some questions about the temporary impacts that would result from that, how those would be kind of stabilized, and then just what the proposal was for access. So all those questions have been addressed at this point. We would suggest a couple of conditions if the commission's willing to issue a negative determination related to fueling, that no fuel, oil, or other pollutants be stored within the resource area or 100-foot buffer. Any refueling of equipment take place outside of the 100-foot buffer zone. That the applicant shall take all necessary precautions to prevent the discharge or spillage of fuel, oil, or other products on any part of the site. Spill kit be present on site at all times. Then also a condition that prior to the performing the standard penetration borings, that a site visit be conducted with the applicant, their contractor, and an agent of the commission to review the proposed access. And then lastly, just that a point of contact at Mass Audubon be identified for the work, so that the city is able to reach out to one individual regarding this work if any questions come up from the public or otherwise. So those are the recommended conditions for a negative determination. I would also note that since this property is city-owned and under the care and custody of the Conservation Commission, after the hearing for the determination of applicability, we would ask the commission to take a separate vote, just authorizing the work as from the property owner perspective on this as well. And we would do this for the next item on the agenda as well. So I'll turn it back to the commission. Happy to answer any questions that you have for us.
Thank you. Commissioners, any questions or comments?
I do have a question for you, Madam Chair. So I did hear you mention the timber mats to in the wetland areas. Just wondering if there are any large trees that would need protecting. Just want to make sure that we're not crushing any roots with any large equipment rolling over it.
I don't believe that any large trees would be affected by our proposed work at this time.
Okay.
I think that's reasonable. Yeah, and every effort will be made to prevent or minimize any vegetation clearing at all. But I think the exact location of the transects that they'll be working on these the seismic refraction or drilling, it's sort of a fit and field approach, I believe, that allows them some flexibility in avoiding vegetation.
Okay.
I guess as a asterisk on that, I would just say our plan ultimately is largely to excavate breach some or all of the existing causeway, which will, this is a year, 2 years or more down the line, but essentially to renaturalize that wetland, which will require eventually some greater area of disturbance, but ultimately intending to restore natural wetland function, improve stormwater, pollutant reduction capacity, flood storage, increase flood storage capacity, and essentially enhance all wetland function and value, in this system. So it's in my view, a small sacrifice for a better long-term gain.
And through you, Madam Chair, just one more. So are you working with a wetlands scientist for that portion of work?
Yes.
Yes.
Any other commissioner questions? I saw Stuart. Wasn't sure if you were looking to say something.
No, I was, just thinking about it, and everything I've heard so far kind of satisfied me.
Got it. So I have a couple of questions. I know you reduced the scope. We got the memo Friday or first thing Monday. Which of the borings have you eliminated from the project? If you know the numbers that are not going to be done.
Christy, do you have that information?
The letter that was provided said the standard penetration borings at 2, 3, and 6 will be hand augered instead.
2, 3, and 6 hand augered. So 4, 5, 1 remain machine. Is that the difference? So it wasn't fewer, it was just the way they were going to be done.
Correct. We'll use hand augers for 2, 3, and 6 and access them by foot.
Okay. Okay. And I just have a sort of a more general question about the, how you subcontract or contract for the machinery that comes onto the property, and whether you're requiring, or could you please require, a insurance certificate from the machinery owner?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's standard practice. Yes.
Okay. And do you know what the dollar limits are and whether there's a pollution rider on it, or is it just a liability policy?
I would have to double check on that.
Okay. Obviously looking for pollution insurance would be the more, because liability doesn't always, the insurance companies won't always cover pollution damage under standard liability policy. So if they run somebody over, you're covered, but if they spill hydraulic fluid, you may not be.
Okay. And would the city be named as an additionally insured?
Yeah, so we had a discussion with the law department about this today, actually, and the city would be looking to be named as an insured on a certificate of insurance for any of the contractors that are coming in with machinery.
Okay.
Is there anyone from the public on this topic?
I'll make a motion for a negative determination with the conditions stated earlier.
Second.
Commissioner Canton?
Aye.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom?
Aye.
Commissioner Fertoni? Aye. You're all set on the RDA.
And then just a reminder that staff recommends a separate motion to authorize this specific scope of work as the property owner.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Canton?
Aye.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom?
Aye.
Commissioner Fertoni? Aye. Next up, new business request for amended order of conditions, 254R, 504 Massasoit Road at 0 Sandra Drive.
Tom, you should be able to unmute yourself now.
Thank you. Appreciate it. once again, oh yes, I meant to say, I'm Tom Latzenizer, from calling in from East Hampton. And I'm a senior conservation ecologist for Mass Audubon. And we have our request for amended order of conditions. This is for common reed management at several sites on the property. There is an existing order of conditions that allows for treatment of common reed in the western portion of the North Marsh, as well as a few other sites along Broadmeadow Brook and its associated wetlands farther south. This amendment is requested to allow a somewhat larger footprint for that project, because common reed has expanded beyond the areas previously marked on that map, and also to expand the techniques available to us to manage common reed. Currently, the order of conditions allows hand application of chemicals, so using a backpack sprayer or essentially a wipe-on technique. And we would like to consider the use of mechanical treatments in combination with chemical treatments. And that might be using hand tools like brush saws or hedge trimmers to cut the Phragmites down up to essentially small low ground pressure tractors to mechanically mow the common reed down, or even in areas where it's essentially common reed and nothing else. It might be if possible, the use of something as large as a machine called a Marshmaster, which is an amphibious tractor boat thing that can go into wetlands and float or drive as needed, and would have a large mowing deck to cut the Phragmites or common reed. So we're essentially looking to be able to expand the geographic footprint and the techniques allowed. And that's the subject of this amendment request.
Thank you. Any staff comments on the request?
Yes, the original order of conditions was issued in 2019. This work was permitted as a ecological restoration limited project. We had discussed the appropriateness of an amendment request for this with Mass DEP. Mass DEP has a policy on amended order of conditions, which typically requires a new notice of intent for any projects where resource area impacts are increasing. But the scope of this project is really a betterment for the resource area. It's not an adverse wetland impact that's being offset by replication. It's purely restoration work. So in our view, it advanced the interests that are protected under the act, and we felt an amendment would be appropriate, and DEP concurred with that when we talked to them about this a couple weeks ago. We had comments related to the specific mechanical measures that would be implemented, particularly, where the Marshmaster would be deployed, what type of handheld equipment would be used. And so we did get response from the project team about that as well, which has been shared with the commission for your review. And yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have. We do have a draft order of conditions, or draft special conditions for a amended order of conditions, I should say, ready to go. And similar to the last item, we would recommend that the commission follow up any vote to issue an order of conditions with a vote to authorize the work from the property owner perspective.
Thank
That's
you.
it for me.
Commissioners, questions or comments about this?
Yeah, through you, Madam Chair, I just have a question regarding the timing of this. Specifically with the mechanical removal, is there a timeline that you have in mind?
At this point, it's probably too late to do mechanical treatments this growing season, is what I'm understanding from our from talking with contractors. We might be looking at doing that in the fall.
Okay.
So avoiding the bulk of the bird nesting season and or the entirety of the nesting season and so forth.
So did you mention, so mechanical means and chemical spray?
Yes, we feel experience has pretty much demonstrated that only mechanical cutting of common reed is not an effective means of taking care of populations that are as large as and well established as this one. So the chemical treatment and also the chemical treatment also by itself does not seem to be sufficient to get it into control. But we have worked on other sites and understand that from prior project experience elsewhere that sort of the 1-2 punch of a chemical treatment and mechanical treatment together can weaken the plant sufficiently to allow effective management of these populations.
Yeah.
And so that's the intention.
Yep. And do the chemicals really just focus on the plant or also on the seeds and preventing them from germinating next spring?
The chemicals proposed for this are entirely temporary. They do not have any residual action on the seed bank.
Okay.
Yeah, they're contact herbicides, and once they're absorbed into the plant, they are in the plant.
Yep.
Any other questions? So I have a question about managing the Phragmites in this environment, where the stands are small relative to the surrounding area. It makes sense to me to go in and get them out best you can. Where the stand is a complete monoculture, my concern is that what plan do you have for a native plant to backfill this area, and is the area even suitable for supporting a native plant? I mean, is it a high salt level? Is it a high contamination level? Just concerned that you'll eradicate the invasive and then there'll be nothing to take its place because the conditions in there, I know it gets a lot of street runoff. It's a stormwater treatment system primarily. What's the plan if the native species don't, especially in these very large areas, where it's a small stand and there's native plants surrounding it, then I feel confident that the native plants will probably fill back in, but these large areas are concerning. And even though it's invasive, it is performing a function of, holding sediment and slowing down water through this system. So what's your backup plan?
I think that's a perceptive question. And that's why we're not proposing wholesale control of common reed on the east side of the North Marsh Causeway area. We only have I think we have a half-acre footprint in that site, really to understand if these treatment this treatment approach is effective in a stand that's probably been there since before the 1950s. So decades of common reed, have come and gone on this site. So there is a bit of a learning opportunity here for us. Essentially, we want to understand that question before we're proposing to treat 12 acres of Phragmites. We want to take a little footprint of a half an acre, see what happens if we, when we treat that area. I suspect that much of the east or western, side of the marsh is still a fairly intact, shallow emergent marsh community with an appropriate array of native wetland plants. I suspect that those plants will be able to colonize really any area if we can get successful control of Phragmites or common reed. But I'm not entirely confident in our ability to control common reed in that 12-acre marsh area. So again, we're trying to try it out and see what happens. Meanwhile, the other patches of reed that are around the sanctuary as part of this proposal, I think most of them are, there's enough lingering other vegetation kind of mixed in that I suspect that it will recolonize fairly quickly after the reed is controlled.
Okay, so I guess I'm hearing that it's not going to be, you're not attempting to do this over a large area, at least yet, and that you'll see what happens before you do attempt to do it over a larger area. How will you, I guess, at what interval will you go, okay, this was the outcome we wanted. We saw enough native plants return and, maybe we're 50% eradicated. Is that like success to you, or is that let's regroup and try something else?
Yeah, I think, personally, I would be more comfortable with a 90% control. I don't think we're really ever expecting eradication here. But really trying to get the common reed down to where it does not take this type of investment in level of intensity for treatment, on an annual basis. I think we're proposing this. It's probably going to take us 2 or 3 years to understand whether this approach is successful. So I wouldn't want to judge it even after a single year of treatment. But at some point we're coming up to, again, our plan is ultimately to make some major hydrologic changes to this wetland by removing some or all of the causeway that is currently impeding or restricting flow to the west side of the causeway. So that eastern portion of the North Marsh that is almost entirely Phragmites does not have free access to the brook. It's not a natural floodplain hydrology there. So we are expecting that when we breach the causeway, we may also have to excavate out some portion of the Phragmites to lower the ground surface, essentially raising the water table effectively, which might be enough to completely change the habitat quality for Phragmites. So even without needing to do this type of mechanical chemical approach, an excavator might do the job. So again, we're not proposing this treatment or even envisioning this treatment across the entire 12-acre eastern marsh area. This is more of a spot treatment effect, in effect on areas where common reed has been increasing over the last several years.
Okay. Thank you. And then my only other comment after that is similar to the one I just had regarding any machinery that operates on the property to make sure that the contractor involved is appropriately insured.
Of course.
Is there anyone from the public on this project? No? Okay. Is there a motion to issue?
We do
Yes.
actually have one
Oh.
hand raised here.
Okay.
Hi, I have a question. I thought I heard you say that,
So could you just state your name and where you live, please?
okay, my name is Kevin and my wife Jill Thibodeau. We're on Tiffany Ave.
Okay.
We're at the end of your project here, one of the roads at the end. So I thought I heard you say that you were gonna remove the causeway?
Yes, essentially our preliminary design, and Eric had it on the screen briefly. I don't know if you want to go back to that slide. The vision is to renaturalize the stream channel, which to some degree involves removing a portion or all of the causeway. Now, we recognize that that is an incredibly important recreational asset of the sanctuary and a beloved feature used by many, many visitors. So an important part of our project plan is to essentially design access through the marsh, whether through boardwalk or bridges, to maintain that accessible trail through the project site.
So
Okay.
before you respond, I just want to make sure you understand that the applicant for today is only here to request a change to the invasive species management for the property. The removal of the boardwalk and all of that will be subject to review in the future. So what we're voting on tonight is just the change in the invasive species management.
Yes.
Okay, so my question is out of order, is that?
It's not out of order. It's just that it's no, you're welcome to ask the question. It's just we're not talking about that project in this meeting. That's coming. It hasn't really been designed yet, and it will go through probably many meetings before that starts to happen.
Okay, so I'm wondering, there's zero plans, so it's not even useful to ask a question? Is that?
If you want to ask a question about the weed management or the invasive species management tonight, that probably makes sense.
I wanted to ask a question about access to trails from Hampton Street. Will that be removed? Or is it still unknown at this point?
Yeah, that would be unknown at this point. And
Okay.
I think they have community meetings that'll be planned as part of this process in addition to, official Conservation Commission meetings.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yes. Kevin, you're welcome to reach out to me and the sanctuary for further information. I'll be glad to talk with outside of this context where we're at with our thinking, and very glad to hear your thoughts.
Okay, how do I reach you?
If you contact Central Sanctuaries, or I can't remember, Broadmeadow Brook has an email address. It'd probably be the easiest way to contact me.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public? I can't see Maddie on my screen anymore. You're shaking your head, Eric?
Yeah, there's no hands are raised.
Okay, great. Is there a motion?
Yes, motion to amend the orders of condition.
So this would
Sec-
follow a public hearing, close, and then a discussion of
Oh.
conditions, as if it was basically a new order of
New order
conditions.
of conditions. Okay. Is there a motion to close the
Mo-
hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Canton,
Aye.
Commissioner Kirschner,
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom,
Aye.
Commissioner Frattoni, aye. Is there a motion to amend the order of conditions?
So here I'd recommend just going over the conditions quickly, since we do have some proposed changes to the original order.
Okay.
So we start off just with the finding that the work is approved as an ecological restoration limited project pursuant to 310 CMR 10.534. We would strike standard conditions 28, 45, and 47. We would have for the standard condition for notification number 22, we would have a request an additional notification for any work involving the marsh master or other large mowing equipment, just that our office be notified 48 hours in advance of that work. We'd have a condition for adaptive management, that the commission recognizes that site conditions and invasive species composition may change over time, that the applicant may request approval from the commission to implement alternative treatment methods or target additional or different invasive species if monitoring indicates such changes would improve ecological outcomes. Any such request shall include a brief justification and description of proposed modifications and shall be subject to commission review and approval at a public meeting or by written authorization. Approved modifications shall be considered authorized under this order, provided they do not result in increased adverse impacts to the resource area beyond those previously permitted. We'd have a condition for monitoring reports, that the applicant submit an annual monitoring report to the Office of the Commission summarizing invasive species management activities conducted during the previous year. Report shall include a description of treatment methods, areas treated, target species, observed effectiveness, and any notable changes in site conditions. We would have condition number 56 for spill prevention, and that's it.
What he said, so moved.
Second,
Second.
Commissioner Canton,
Aye.
Commissioner Kirschner,
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom,
Aye.
Commissioner Frattoni, aye. Okay, all set.
Much appreciated. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
Just a
Next,
reminder that, sorry to keep.
sorry,
jumping
we
in
need
here.
to, yep,
My
sorry.
bad. Yes.
I know
Just a suggestion that we
To
have a
vote on
separate
the, yep.
authorization vote. Yes.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Canton,
Aye.
Commissioner Kirschner,
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom,
Aye.
Commissioner Frattoni, aye. Sorry about that. Hard to see you. You're about a half an inch high.
I'm sorry to keep
Like,
butting in.
throw things at me. Next item, new business request for determination of applicability. Number 5 on the agenda, Assabet Lane, Prouty Lane, and Pleasant Street rights of way.
Good evening, commission members. My name is Matt Kelly, with Epsilon Associates here on behalf of the Massachusetts Electric Company, also known as National Grid, to present this request for determination of applicability. Dan White from National Grid is also on the call as well. We have a pretty minor project associated with an existing feeder that runs along Pleasant Street and adjacent streets, including Prouty Lane and Assabet Lane. So the proposed scope of work includes the installation of a new pole, as shown on the screen there, pole 8 on Assabet Lane, with an overhead connection to the existing feeder along Pleasant Street. Looks like any ground disturbing work in this area is outside of the 100-foot buffer zone to BVW. That was delineated to the north side of Pleasant Street, but we do fall within 100 feet of a catch basin shown on this map on Pleasant Street. In addition, on Prouty Lane, the proposed scope of work includes the replacement of an existing electric distribution pole, pole 1-82, which is shown there. It is it's a little covered by the 15-foot buffer zone to an intermittent tributary of Tatnuck Brook. There's also the proposed installation of pole 1, which lands within the 50-foot buffer to the intermittent tributary, and then a proposed anchor installation on pole 109, located along Pleasant Street. Looks like pole 109 is located outside the 100-foot buffer zone to the stream bank, but it is within 100 feet of a catch basin. That kind of summarizes the scope of work here. As usual, best management practices, including sediment controls, will be installed around the proposed ground disturbance area associated with pole replacements and pole installations, and then any disturbed soils will be graded and temporarily stabilized with mulch on the completion of work.
Okay, staff, any comments or questions about the work?
So no concerns from staff. This project is exempt under the Wetlands Protection Act, but they were required to file under the Wetland Protection Ordinance, but no concerns from staff.
Okay. Questions or comments from commissioners?
Through you, Madam Chair, just in terms of the covering the replaced soil with mulch, is there any seeding that's also planned?
Typically no. The soils are just stabilized and allowed to revegetate from surrounding veg.
Yeah. Okay. And can you just talk a little bit about the timeline between the removal of the pole and putting in the new pole?
Each pole is replaced within a day. So actually multiple poles are replaced per day. In relation to, if I understand the question correctly, in relation to the existing pole that will be replaced, pole 1-82 on Prouty. So now I believe this is a National Grid owned pole, so therefore the existing pole would be removed at the same time. Sometimes and if this is a joint, if it's a pole that's owned jointly by multiple utilities, National Grid is replacing the pole, and the other joint venture would be responsible for removal of the pole. Oftentimes that's Verizon, and I cannot give a date on the removal of the existing pole upon replacement. I think that answers your question, but please let me know if there's any other questions there.
No, that was good. I think you're saying if it's your pole, it'll be removed and replaced within a day. So if it is someone else's pole, I'm just curious, does that fall under this RDA, or do they need to refile or ask questions to make sure they're doing things right for that removal?
I believe the removal would be covered under this RDA as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
Anyone else? Is there anyone from the public on this?
I will make a motion for a negative determination.
Second.
Commissioner Canton,
Aye.
Commissioner Kirschner,
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom,
Aye.
Commissioner Fatoni, aye. Are you staying on the call for the next one as well?
Yep,
Okay.
absolutely.
Number 6, Lake Avenue North, right of way.
Yeah, so another small project here that falls within 100 feet of Lake Quinsigamon, the banks of Lake Quinsigamon. On North Lake Ave, Massachusetts Electric Company plans to replace existing pole 33, essentially in kind. So right next to the existing pole. Best management practices such as sediment control, straw wattle will be used during pole replacement activities. Disturbed soils will be graded and mulched to temporarily stabilize soils, and then same situation here in regards to removal of the existing pole. If it's owned by National Grid, they remove it at the time of replacement. If it's a joint venture, then a separate utility is responsible for removal of the existing pole.
Staff, any questions or concerns?
No concerns from staff.
Commissioners?
General question. So are the poles usually placed in a somewhat level area? They're not installed on slopes, is that correct?
Yeah, so in this I mean, poles definitely can be installed on slopes, but in this situation, it is on the roadway shoulder. And there is a bit of a slope there on the other side of the guardrail.
Yeah. So my question would be the mulch, is there any concern about that just getting washed away? Or are there other methods to sort of make sure? Yeah.
Yeah, we're not talking about a lot of disturbance here. You know, it's probably 1 square foot is the
Yeah.
size of the auger. So in my personal opinion, I do not think that there is a high risk for soils or mulch used to temporarily stabilize them to wash away.
Okay.
Anyone from the public?
I'll make a motion for a negative determination.
Second.
Commissioner Canton,
Aye.
Commissioner Kirschner,
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom,
Aye.
Commissioner Fatoni, aye. All set?
Thank you guys very much. Have a nice evening.
Thank you. You too.
You too.
Next item, number 7, request for determination of applicability, number 7, Butler Street and the McKeon Road right away.
Alex, you should be on the unmute.
Oh, great. Thank you. I'm also joined by Kara Kelleher, who also should be given permissions to unmute.
All right. Kara, you should be all set as well.
Thank you. Great, thank you. So I think we sent you a presentation, but just to sort of introduce the project, we're here just presenting the request for determination of applicability for the Butler Street and McKeon Road Utility Replacement Project. And this is on behalf of the City of Worcester. So as mentioned, on behalf of the City of Worcester, the Department of Public Works, specifically Dave Harris, I sort of introduced myself a little bit already, but I am Alex Gaspar with Weston and Sampson. I've been the head of permitting for the project, and I am joined by Kara Kelleher, project manager. So just to orient everyone a little bit, this red outline shows the project area. So it sort of runs from the dead end of Butler Street to McKeon Road. And then there is a small portion of the project on Blackstone River Road with Middle River sort of running to the north of the project site. I'll now turn it over to Kara to give you some background and project information.
Okay, so the city of Worcester has an ongoing maintenance as part of their integrated plan. They replace and separate their twin manholes on a yearly basis. And they're going to continue this project in the Butler and McKeon Road area. So we want to go to the next slide. The project involves replacement of sewer, water, and drain on Butler Road, Butler Street. And the sewer or the manholes on Butler are twin. So those will currently the sewer and the drain are separated by the sewers are plated in the manholes, but once the construction's done, the manholes will be completely separate. And then on McKeon Road, we're just replacing the sewer and the drain and extending it to the interceptor that is on Blackstone River Road. And the city will likely put the project out to bid early this summer, and depending on the contractor, the work may start. Construction would start either in the fall or in the spring. The reason it would be delayed to the spring is because the water main replacement on Butler will require temporary water. And then hand it back to Alex.
Great, thank you. So if you want to go to the next slide, we can take a closer look at the wetland resources. Yep, so this is our wetland resources map. You can see that we had a perennial stream, Middle River, delineated as top of bank A. And then we had top of bank B and C that were just two, they were flagged as intermittent. They were just two drainage outfalls. So those were flagged as intermittent. With the perennial stream, we had a 25-foot riverfront area. And then we also had the 100-foot buffer, as well as the 15-foot no disturb zone and the 30-foot no structure zone. Next slide. It's just our FEMA flood map. You can see the site does not fall within the regulatory floodway or the 100-year flood zone. There's, a portion of it in the 500-year at the top of the site, but the site is entirely out of the 100-year flood. These are just our impacts. So the impacts are going to be to the 100-foot buffer, as well as the 100-foot stormwater protection zone protected by the city of Worcester. As you can see, all impacts are considered temporary, just because the site is going to be returned to existing condition following construction. This project is being filed as an RDA due to the exemption that states installation of underground utilities within existing paved roadways, which this project falls under. As previously mentioned, all impacts are temporary and within existing paved roads, so we are requesting a negative determination. I believe that is it. If there are any questions.
Staff, any questions or comments?
No concerns from staff.
Commissioners? I just have a question around sediment control during the construction phase, when the ground is open and, there's dirt, frankly, in the street. Is there a regular practice of sweeping these sites, and protecting the drains?
Yeah, we require drain protection. So on the catch basins, And then they do have to, yeah, keep, the material, if they're within the one, like if we're at the corner of Butler and McKeon, where the resource, or we're in the buffer zone for the resource, yeah, the contractor is required to control, any discharge of sediment from into the drainage system.
So again, that's just by protecting the drains themselves.
Yeah, and they do have to control dust, and they would be, cleaning at the end of the day, and then either they'd have road plates to close it up, or they would do temporary paving at the end of the day.
Okay. And how long on the project do they anticipate the road being open at some portion of the road?
Construction will probably anticipated 120 calendar days. But yeah, so that would be
6 months.
6 months, yes.
Yeah. Okay. But you said you haven't gone out to bid yet, so there's no contractor selected, and I'm sure there's only a limited number that are.
Yeah, the city requires certified drain layers for Worcester. So yes.
Okay. I don't have any additional questions. Is there anybody from the public online?
Make a
Nope.
motion for a negative determination?
Second.
Commissioner Canton,
Aye.
Commissioner Kirschner,
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom,
Aye.
Commissioner Frattoni, aye. You're all set.
Thank you
Great.
very much.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
You too.
Let's see. Next item number 8, old business and notice of intent, Pleasant Street right of way.
All right. And Andrea, you should be able to unmute.
Great. Hi. Hi, everyone. Andrea Kendall with LEC Environmental Consultants. Here tonight with Colleen Lothrop from Tool Design, and then Erica Larner from MassDOT. And they also have their hands up if they're able to have permission to unmute when needed. Last meeting, we discussed some additional follow-up was necessary to look into the cold water fishery at Tatnick Brook, and some clarifications on what might be further required by MassDOT. And I should have provided some, Maddie and Eric, you provided some of the old notice of intent plans, but I wanted to bring to the commission's attention that in 2014, MassDOT implemented a stormwater retrofit project for Pleasant Street as it relates to protection of Tatnick Brook. And as part of that project, they implemented stormwater control measures that included a new infiltration basin located kind of midway up the project corridor, pretty much adjacent to the golf course that's shown in the lower right-hand side. And then also as part of that project, right pretty much at the Tatnick Brook area, 3 infiltration underground catch basin infiltration measures there. So with that project, the water quality was already addressed and provided substantial improvement to provide thermal mitigation for the Coldwater Brook, water quality improvements and as well as other drainage improvements. This project that is before the commission itself is, as we described previously, the site constraints of the existing right-of-way did not warrant or provide opportunities to provide additional measures. But that's to say that this has already been addressed by MassDOT through that permitting effort in 2014, and everything has since been constructed. So I wanted to convey that, as well as the fact that these particular BMPs are explicitly approved under the stormwater management standards as appropriate stormwater control measures for receiving bodies that are cold water fisheries. So I don't know if there's anything else to add from the team, but open to questions by the commission.
I was just gonna let the commission know that if they're interested, I do have the plans for that stormwater retrofit up and available to share. In case you're interested in seeing what those look like, we do have them available for you. That's
Yeah,
all.
and I have that up as well too. So that those BMPs pretty much occur at Tatnick Brook, just to the plan east of our project terminus.
And I believe there was a concern about whether there had been a memorandum of understanding or anything else in the area around this time. Upon further investigation, what we found was that the commenter previously from the public was likely referring to the Mass DEP Stormwater Handbook, which this was designed to meet, including the updated version from 2023, and that, as Andrea said previously, the stormwater BMPs that were installed approved in 2014 and installed a few years after that, were specifically designed with the standard 6 for cold water fisheries in mind, using those preferred BMPs. So the additional stormwater runoff from the impervious area proposed in this project is being directed to a stormwater facility that is designed for cold water fisheries.
Are we able to have them share their screen so we can see where these are?
Yep, you guys should be able to share.
Okay. So I have that up here, and I think you all can see it at this point. So the red line here is about where the current project terminus is, and these are the catch basin, the stormwater BMP proposed leaching basins. There are 3 units here and 1 unit on the north side of the street with a riprap outfall there. So that's one component of it. And excuse me, let me just, and then further west of the Tatnick Brook is the stormwater basin, the infiltration basin here. And so that takes much of the overall, it takes much of the paved runoff from the paved surface and directs it in. And only if stormwater capacity from major storm events, there's a spillway there, and then an outlet control structure there.
Could you just, I just point those out then back on the map, their location?
Yep. So here's our plan set. This is the eastern project terminus. The area in green on both sides of the street are those existing leaching basins, subsurface here. And then
so just I guess maybe go further out on the map, not so close up.
Yeah, okay. So again, here are the leaching.
Sorry,
basin.
I'm not being clear. My fault.
I'm so
on,
sorry. I don't
on
think
either
we
an
have-
aerial view or a
Okay.
larger map, right?
It
Let
may
me,
take us a moment to pull that up just because our
Yeah.
plans don't have both projects on them.
okay. So Tatnick Brook is up here. So here is that driveway. And so here are probably one set on the south side of the leaching catch basins. And then here's the brook here. And then the other catch basin, leaching catch basin is here. Coincidentally, there's a little bit of a change in shading of the pavement. So that's about where the project terminus is here. And then scrolling out a little bit, that stormwater basin is located just north of the golf course. I can go to street view if that might work or not. I don't know, but that's over here.
Got it. And so who's responsible for maintaining these?
They are
Eric?
DOT basins, and therefore DOT is responsible for those maintenance.
Okay, has anyone looked or inspected these in the last 10 years?
In general, our catch basins and stormwater facilities are inspected annually and cleaned out and maintained as noted during those inspections. I don't have a record of the inspections for this particular basin, but we do, our catch basins and infiltration basins are inspected annually.
Okay. I'm sorry, and I think I cut off staff. Is there staff questions or concerns on this?
That's okay. I don't have too much to add. So we did reach out to the commenter who raised this question during the last meeting, and the document he was referring to was the 2004 Mass DOT Stormwater Guide, which, as mentioned, has been replaced by the 2023 version. Regardless, we also reviewed the memo that was submitted in response regarding compliance with Standard 6, and we don't have any concerns about the proposed work meeting the stormwater standards as applicable for this project.
Okay. Commissioners, questions or concerns?
No questions or concerns, just comments, and I'm glad that the infrastructure was there to sort of address some of those issues. And I think it would be interesting to find out, I'm not expecting to hear this tonight, but to find out to what degree of success those structures, were, what sort of impact they actually had on that brook.
Yeah, and I don't know, typically there's no pre and post project specific testing other than, I guess, the state does do their water quality testing to as part of their impaired waters, understand to what degree it's considered an impaired water. I mean, I could certainly pull what has been published to date. I don't know. It would be hard to otherwise like make a tangible distinction between this project contribution or not.
Yeah, understood.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other commissioners? Anyone from the public?
I'll make a motion to close if there are none.
Second.
Commissioner Canton,
Aye.
Commissioner Kirschner,
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom,
Aye.
Commissioner Frattoni, aye. Is there a motion? Oh, sorry, order of conditions.
No worries. So we have a couple of findings first. One, just noting that the project is approved as a limited project pursuant to 310 CMR 10.53F. Also a finding that this order of conditions confirms the wetland boundaries shown on the approved plan solely for the purposes of this project. Reason being for that finding is we were not able to go out and field verify all resource areas delineated for this work. So just don't want that to be the basis for another project when we haven't had that opportunity. Then in addition to standard conditions, we have condition 31 for SWIP, 37 for stormwater management system maintenance, 48 for dust control, 49 for dewatering, 50 for cement truck washing, 56 for spill prevention, with ongoing condition 37.
Any questions about the order conditions from the applicant?
Other than to inquire what condition 37 is?
So that is, so that's stormwater management system maintenance. The full text of that one is, the stormwater management system shall be maintained in accordance with the approved design plans and operation maintenance on file with the Office of the Commission. System shall be maintained in good hydraulic condition. Maintenance records from the past 3 years shall be made available to the Commission upon request. And the condition shall extend in perpetuity beyond the issuance of the COC. And I think that's just in relation to the new catch basins that were proposed in the associated O&M plan that was submitted for those in the stormwater report.
Thank you.
Commissioners, any questions or comments about the conditions? No, is there a
None
motion?
here, so I'll make a motion to issue the orders of conditions as described.
Second.
Commissioner Canton,
Aye.
Commissioner Kirschner,
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom,
Aye.
Commissioner Frattoni, aye.
Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
Thanks, folks. Take care.
Okay. Next up, number 9, notice of intent, 33 and 115 Northeast Cutoff.
And you should be able to talk, Meredith.
Hi there. Meredith Bornstein, SWCA Environmental Consultants. Here on behalf of, so this is a continuation. We were here last time, but I'll just give the commission a summary of what we're proposing at for the Great Brook Riparian Restoration Project. So we filed this notice of intent in partnership with the EEA, that's the Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs. And they administer the Riparian Zone Restoration Program, which is a statewide program to try to restore floodplain forests throughout the state. On this project in particular, we worked with the Greater Worcester Land Trust, who has a CR on the northern side of the brook there. And then the city of Worcester also worked with us. And so we can do some, gave us permission to do some native plantings on their property, which is south of the brook. And, if you go to the next slide, you can see the 2 parcels that we're proposing the plantings on. Excuse me. So last time we were here, we didn't have our DEP file number. We did receive that, and they confirmed that this is qualifies as an ecological restoration limited project. They wanted us to update our WPA form with the linear feet of bank that we're proposing to revegetate or remove invasive species on, which is 329 linear feet. So we did update our form and sent that over to the DEP and the commission staff. So these are our planting zones. We, field mapped these areas based on a number of criteria, but in particular that they weren't already forested. So that's why they're a little bit funny shapes. And in these zones, we're going to be planting native trees and shrubs, and we're also going to be doing invasive plant management. So we can give the native plantings a chance because there's quite a few invasives on site. Let's see the next slide. This is just a list of trees and shrubs that we're proposing out there. And we designed the project to restore 3 different habitat types. So there's a wetland habitat, a riparian zone, which is of course, between the wetland and the upland, but within 200 feet of the river, and then purely upland habitat. And so we picked the species based on the hydrology that they would do the best in. And yeah, like I said, thank you. So in order to plant about 400 plants, we're going to have to prepare the site. And so this is written in the notice, but we will be proposing to mow some of the herbaceous vegetation out there so we can get the plants in the ground and also monitor them in the future. Also, it gives them a chance to grow up before the tall herbaceous species grow, start coming in the spring. And then we're proposing to use a small machine to dig that has an auger attachment. You can see in this photo. It's a really small machine, and somebody just stands behind it and uses this to dig just planting holes, basically. And also we are going to be watering the plants, and we want to use a low flow water pump and use water from Great Brook to water some of the trees and shrubs. We'll also there's an access road, and so we have water tanks in our trucks we can also use. And lastly, yeah, just again, proposing to do mechanical and chemical invasive plant management in our planting zones. Again, just to really give our native trees and shrubs a chance to grow and thrive. So that's basically it in a nutshell. Nothing else came from the DEP comments, and I'd love to answer any other questions the commission might have.
You're on mute, Diane.
Sorry. Thank you, staff.
Sure, thank you. Yeah, so as Meredith mentioned, we did receive DEP comments, nothing really significant in there. I do actually have a question now that we've talked about the irrigation system again. So the withdrawal from the brook itself isn't regulated under the Wetlands Protection Act based on previous conversations we've had with DEP. But I'm curious about the procedures for doing that, or the process for doing that. Is that something that would be like manually operated by a person who's on the site, or would the intention be to have that as something kind of running in the background unsupervised?
Oh yeah, I have a picture of it. I should have put it in the slideshow. It's this really small handheld pump, and so whenever we would do watering, they would utilize that. It's not something that would be on site. It would only be during watering events, and that's also if we're getting a lot of rain, then we wouldn't be watering. But yeah, there's it's a really small handheld pump, and then it has a hose coming out of one side, so it's really, really minimal.
Okay.
I can
Is
show
it-
you the picture too if you want.
Is it gas powered, or how
It is gas powered.
Okay.
Yeah. And so we would just fill it up on the access road away from the resources.
Sounds good. Yeah, staff didn't have any concerns with the additional measures that were described. Just want to ask those clarifying questions, but overall, very supportive of the work to remove invasive species and plant natives and restore the riparian area.
Commissioners, any questions or comments about the project?
Yes, through you, Madam Chair. So just wondering about the timing for some of this work to start.
Yes, so we're hoping if we get approval, we're going to start planning as soon as the appeal period is over. And then we will be, after the planting, we will be monitoring the plants throughout the summer and doing invasive control throughout the summer as needed. And it's going to start as soon as we can, and just continue to caring for the plant material throughout the summer. And
Yep. Sounds good. So your plan is to try to do the mechanical removal prior to any of the invasives going to seed?
Yeah, we have a schedule in the notice of intent, and it gave us a range of options. Just because I think we're trying to get the plants installed first. But yeah, it depends on the species. And we are planning on doing a manual like hand pulling of garlic mustard. Like that starts pretty soon. So we can do that a little bit when we're out there doing the plantings.
Yeah.
Does that answer your question?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Any other commissioners? Is there anyone from the public? No?
I'll make a motion to close.
Commissioner Canton?
Aye.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom?
Aye.
Commissioner Frattoni? Aye. Proposed order conditions?
So we first have a finding that the work is approved as an ecological restoration limited project pursuant to 310 CMR 10.534. We would strike conditions 28, 45, 47, and 60. And then we would have the same adaptive management and monitoring report requirements or conditions rather that were described for item number 4. We would have condition number 56 for spill prevention. And that's it.
Okay. Is there any question from the applicant about the conditions?
Oh, just what were the monitoring requirements? Or is that their monitoring requirements specified in the
Sorry,
order?
I was muted there. Yeah, I can read the full condition. So the applicant shall submit an annual monitoring report to the Office of the Commission summarizing invasive species management activities conducted during the previous year. Report shall include a description of treatment methods, areas treated, target species, and observed effectiveness, and any notable changes in site conditions.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much.
Anybody? Sorry. No other questions on the conditions. Is there a motion?
Motion to issue the orders of conditions that's described.
Second.
Commissioner Canton?
Aye.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom?
Aye.
Commissioner Frattoni? Aye. Good luck with this project.
Thank you so much. We'll keep you guys posted.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too. Okay, so 10, 11, 12, all postponed. Next item up, 13, notice of intent, 00 and 2 Tyson Road.
Can you
John,
hear me all
you
right?
should be. Yep.
All right, how you doing? So, John Plifka, McCarty Engineering here tonight, representing the applicant. So, we are proposing a 3-unit single-family building at 2 Tyson and 0 Tyson Road. The property is approximately 0.29 acres within the RL7. It's currently vacant. So we're proposing that, each unit will have its own driveway. It'll be serviced by municipal sewer and water. Even though, the stormwater management standards don't apply to 3 units or for less than 4 units, we are proposing an underground infiltration basin located at the rear of the building to infiltrate runoff from the proposed rooftop. This is a local filing only due to the proximity of the existing drainage infrastructure in the road. And but as such, we are proposing erosion control measures to be implemented for the duration of construction. And yeah, we received a handful of comments from staff that we responded to accordingly. I guess the biggest one was just extending the erosion control barrier and adding some tree protection. And with that said, I'd be happy to answer any questions that commission might have.
Thank you. Staff comments?
Yep. So as stated, most of staff comments have been, or all of staff comments have been addressed at this point with revised plans. This is a local only filing due to proximity to a catch basin. Staff doesn't have any concerns at this time.
Thank you. Commissioners? No? Sorry.
Nope, I was saying no.
Okay. So I just have a question about the infiltration system. It sits across 2 parcels. Who would be responsible for the maintenance of this unit?
So it's going to be likely condoized, so it would be under that entity that, you know, all owners would have responsibility for that.
Okay. Is there anyone here from the public on this? No. Okay. Is there a
I'll make a
motion?
motion to close.
Second.
Commissioner Canton,
Aye.
Commissioner Kirschner,
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom,
Aye.
Commissioner Frattoni, aye. Proposed order of conditions?
So in addition to the standard conditions, staff recommends condition 32 for trees to remain, 37 for stormwater management system maintenance, 38 for infiltration unit inspection, 49 for dewatering, 50 for cement truck washing, 56 for spill prevention, 66 for sand and salt, and then ongoing conditions for 37, the stormwater system maintenance, and 66 for the sand and salt.
Okay. Does the applicant have any questions about the conditions?
Nope.
Okay. Commissioners, comments or? No?
None here. I'll make a motion to issue the orders of conditions as described.
Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Canton,
Aye.
Commissioner Kirschner,
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom,
Aye.
Commissioner Frattoni, aye. You're all set.
All right. Thank you for your time. Have a good rest of your night.
You too. Okay. 14 on the agenda, new business request for amended order of conditions for Brant Lane and 0 Grafton Street.
Good evening, Commission. This is Mitch Maslanka with Goddard Consulting. Here representing the applicant this evening, Brant Lane Development LLC, for a request to amend the order of conditions to construct the 5-story residential buildings and related infrastructure at 4 Brant Lane. So if I may have the ability to share screen, I can start sharing our materials.
You should be good, Mitch.
Excellent. Thank you. Okay. So back in June of 2025, Commission had approved an order of conditions to be issued for the development of 4 Brant Lane. It was for the 5 residential buildings. And in the appeal period, DEP had issued an SOC intervention letter. So they had appealed the project and had stated that they wanted to further review the bank impact form and standards to see if it was if we're going to have adverse effects to bank resource areas. So in our SOC discussions with DEP and the conservation agents, we've been able to work with the project team to come up with an alternative plan to building 4's site layout. And in addition, some other areas of the site we have revised to further improve conditions of buffer zone and resource areas. So we had, before the Conservation Commission several months ago, with that informal meeting to discuss the alternative site plan showing building 4 not over an existing intermittent stream and not proposing a rerouting of the stream. So the Commission had agreed, yes, we would be willing to entertain a request to amend the order conditions. So that is what we proceeded and filed. So March 25th, we submitted the request to amend the order conditions for DEP file number 3491411. So in that request to amend and order conditions, we provided the city's request to amend and order conditions form. We amended our UPA Form 3 due to us reducing bank impacts. So we did provide that documentation in the form. And we provided the other procedural elements, that being the filing fee for under the Worcester ordinance, butter notification. The Worcester conservation agents confirmed that the legal ad was run for the this public hearing, and we provided previously approved plans as well as the newly proposed alternative plan. So the main revisions that we have proposed on the site plan now relate to Building 4's layout. I'll get to that screen for you. So here's our existing conditions of the site, again, as a reminder. So large site, going to be split into several different parcels, 5 different parcels. And this was what the site layout used to look like, with Building 4 in this L shape, being constructed over where an existing intermittent stream and large pipe are carrying flow through right now. And the plan that was approved had a rerouting of the stream around this development like so. So now the proposed revisions to that plan are going to not impact the stream. If you can see, without any wetland flag shown, really just an outline of where that stream is right here. So we've adjusted Building 4's footprint to the left to avoid impacting that stream. So now with keeping the stream, there's no relocation of the stream around the development footprint. We are still proposing restoration of the intermittent stream to the south of the development here, as this is existing degraded stream flowing over pavement for a significant length, and then flowing into this pond pool where these 2 streams eventually merge before going under Brant Lane. An additional aspect of our request to amend the order conditions involves impacts over by this portion of the site, Building 1. This dog park was initially proposed to be larger. After our site visit with DEP, there were several large mature trees in this area, and they had requested if it was possible to, in the limit of work, to spare the cutting of those large mature trees. So showing this plan here, this is the old plan. You can see it was much larger going up this lot line here. It is now proposed to be much smaller, not going as close to this wetland down here. So buffer zone impacts were reduced there in an effort to spare the removal of large mature trees. So our request to amend the order conditions will be centered around the request to have this aspect of the plan revised, as well as having revisions made to the work on this lot here, Lot 4, because there is a significant difference from the previous plan to this plan as what's being proposed on Lot 4, that being access roadways, parking areas, no longer having the stream rerouting, keeping the existing stream, the stream crossing, and we are providing the restoration of the stream channel with a revised mitigation plan for the buffer zone around it. I'll get into those very specific details, but before I move on, are there any questions about the overall request to amend the order conditions and the high-level topics involved?
Steph?
No questions, no.
No. Commissioners?
No.
Okay. So get into the nitty-gritty then.
Excellent. I will proceed. So I'll go to our more in-depth landscape plan may show Actually, we'll do this plan. Okay, so this is a plan sheet in the plan set that highlights our impacts to wetland resource areas. So the north, where the stream used to be proposed to be rerouted around the development, we're now going to propose a crossing over an existing area where there's an existing round corrugated pipe. So water currently flows in a stream, goes through a pipe, and then into this intermittent stream that is in a linear fashion. And this proposed crossing is proposed to be meeting stream crossing standards. So we've provided our dimensions of the culvert here to show that it is spanning the banks by at least 1.2 feet on each side. We are meeting the openness ratio of 0.82 is the minimum. So this will be an improvement to that very specific area. Instead of having the small round corrugated pipe, we'll have a larger box culvert meeting stream crossing standards. So the access roadway will come in here. We'll have parking and an access to the building in this area. There'll be retaining walls tightening our limit of work at that crossing area. Since there's BVW to the north of it, we aren't proposing any BVW impacts. Very similar to the previously approved plan, we did not propose BVW impacts. We split up our impact areas just to make some distinctions. There is a small piece of impact area that's not currently contained within the pipe, will eventually be contained within the box culvert due to our need to meet the minimum planning board requirement width of the road. So that will be a permanent impact area 1 there. The rest of the stream channel, we are proposing to temporarily impact just for restoration purposes to remove debris, ash and such, and the asphalt chunks and concrete blocks, as there was quite a bit of that in that stream, which is why initially we had proposed to reroute the stream because of its degraded nature. So now instead of rerouting, we're going to propose to restore as best we can that stream channel with suitable stream substrates and banks as appropriate. In addition, the closest buffer zones to it, the 15-foot buffer zone is proposed as a no impact zone just to be mitigated with plantings, which I'll show on a landscape plan. And the 30-foot we're proposing to restore as well. You can see we have removed pavement as that 30-foot is nearly entirely degraded right now. And same with right up to the banks is also pavement to be removed in areas. On this side, we do have proposed work within the 30-foot retaining wall and some amenity space, but with the significant improvement of the buffer zones, both 15, the closest areas, and the 30-foot, we felt it was a fair trade-off to still propose some work here in the 30, while there is a significant improvement to the buffer zones, even extending beyond the 30-foot over to the east of that stream channel. So significant improvements to the area directly adjacent to the channel, and a stream crossing that meets stream crossing standard to improve the existing crossing today. We also have just south of there, the stream flows into that long pipe, which eventually discharges into a plunge pool just directly north of Brant Lane. And that pipe is proposed to be replaced as it likely is unable and unsuitable to be constructed over with the infrastructure proposed. So that pipe will just be replaced in place. And it will discharge slightly north of where it currently does. We are proposing to add resource area in between those two areas. The stream's gonna discharge onto a riprap pad to debate velocities, since it's going through that long pipe for a long distance, potentially at high speeds during storm water flows. we do want to dissipate those velocities as it comes out of the stream channel before entering a newly constructed stream channel where it will merge with the stream over here, currently flowing over pavement. Also, the top of this area where stream flows into that paved swale, this is all proposed to be reconstructed as a natural stream channel, having more natural stream substrates similar to what exists up gradient and down gradient of Grant Lane. I went over that in length during the original proposal hearing process for what the stream substrates would be. There's going to be no change in what the stream substrate and bank will look like and how to stabilize them. Some minor modifications to its flow path and no longer having a stream channel merge further north. Instead, it's going to merge closer where it naturally, or not naturally, but currently merges together north of Grant Lane. Adjacent to the channel, there's proposals to revise our grading and our planting plans. We have a slope up to outdoor gathering areas and parking. The area I'll show on the landscape plan as well, but native plantings are proposed, and doing our best to propose wetland indicator species where it's more likely to have wetter soils, hydric soils, and wetland hydrology. And then further up the slope, we propose more plants that are more well adapted to drier soil conditions. Similar to south of the proposed stream channel, we're proposing the same thing. Closest to the stream banks are going to be our facultative and facultative wet and obligate plant species being proposed. And then further from the stream bank you get, we'll be proposing the plants that are more tolerant of the drier soils. There are larger trees identified in some of these areas that we have identified and put on the plan in an attempt to keep them in place and not have them removed during construction. There's a significant amount of pavement being removed in these areas, and we are going to do our best to keep the trees, but if for whatever reason access or the practicality of keeping the trees in place this is an issue that may need to be removed. No changes are proposed to the Grant Lane crossing. One of the EP's comments did request a scour protection plan for during construction. So we are going to add that just south of the Grant Lane crossing, just some scour protection for temporary measures when we have the stream and in an alternate flow path through pipes. And before it reaches the natural stream, we are going to have scour protection there to prevent any erosion or sediment entering our natural stream channel. That summarizes the vast majority of the overall changes in terms of resource area impacts and buffer zone impacts. I'll just touch upon the landscape plan just so you see it once before I toss it over to Patrick Healy from Thompson List and Associates. He is the civil engineer who put these plans together, designed the civil engineering for the project. So I'll have him do the stormwater presentation. But as you can see, the landscaping plan is quite robust. This was a revised plan sheet that the commission has available. And due to the limitations that the city of Worcester has on plant species due to invasive insects, it's not as diverse as we would probably hope, but they are plants that are native to the area, and many of them are what were previously approved, just in different locations based on the plans that were made. So we're doing silky dogwood and speckled alder closest to the streams, and red mulberry is our upland tree of choice that we'll have in the buffer zones adjacent to it. So that covers that aspect of the project. So are there any questions on what I presented prior to us shifting to the stormwater?
Steph?
I'm good for now. Gonna give some general comments once the applicant's done with their presentation.
Okay, commissioners? Devin, I think you're muted. Devin, I think you're still muted.
Like it might be a mic issue because I saw that you were unmuted when you were trying to speak, but I couldn't hear
Okay.
you.
Okay. Keep going.
Okay. Yeah, Devin, we're happy to hear your comments once you get your microphone working.
Hello?
There you go.
Go
ahead.
Yep.
Yep, so on this slide, you were just mentioning that those trees would be removed if they needed to. Do you have a replacement strategy if they were to be removed?
Yeah, yes, we have a very robust landscaping plan for the area. So, you know, if one of the trees that is to remain, so like right here, these two smaller ones are the trees that are proposed to remain. If they do get removed, we're more than happy to add in supplemental plantings to fill in the gaps.
Yeah, okay.
Great. Okay. And yeah, each area is going to have proper seed mixes too. The wet mix with wetland herbaceous plants being proposed in the wetter areas, and then in the more upland areas, we're going to have the wildlife conservation seed mix. So let me see, Patrick, are you on by chance?
Yes, hello, everyone.
Hello.
So Mitch, if you could go back to the sort of overall plan that shows building 4 with the stormwater units, I think that's a good place to start. So when we reconfigured this building and moved it over toward the west, toward Grafton Street, that ended up putting the building where we originally had the infiltration system designed. So in looking at the test pits and subsurface conditions, we're able to replicate the detention function of that system, but the groundwater conditions here are higher, so we're not able to maintain the same level of infiltration. There will still be some infiltration, but not what we had initially proposed. So by reconfiguring these underground detention and infiltration systems, we're still able to meet our targets for matching pre-development and post-development flows to the extent that we can. Mitch mentioned the replacement of the culvert. You remember walking out there, there's sort of an 8-inch pipe where the stream goes in, and then where it discharges at the other end, it's a 42-inch pipe, and we really don't know what's going on between there. We're just proposing to replace that with a new pipe that will, last for a reasonable lifespan, rather than trying to cobble something together with what's there today. I can tell you that overall, by reducing 30 some odd units from the building, taking away that additional surface parking, the overall impervious area in this part of the site was reduced by approximately 15,000 square feet. So that did help us with our stormwater calculations and our cover calculations. So all of those metrics actually look a little bit better. And then when we look at the discharge point of this culvert, we aimed that essentially to the same direction that it's going now, in alignment with the new Brant Lane culvert. And at DPW's request, we also tied together some of the other stormwater discharges. So they're all sort of focused in this one location. So they're discharging at the same point, where we had multiple discharge points previously. By reconfiguring the site here, we moved the dog park a bit away from this stream and detention system. So that's a little further up to the north. But actually will give it more shade with the mature trees that we're able to save in this area. And as Mitch mentioned, some minor change to the southeast corner of the site, where we pulled back the limit of the dog park and the field slope so that there's better flow calculations over in that direction as well. So we're not increasing the peak rate of flow in any direction. We're able to save more of a buffer to the wetland and neighbors down in that location. And the stormwater systems that we're using are similar to those we have throughout the site that are the precast concrete chambers placed under the parking areas. They're each 20 load supporting, and we have some complex outlets designed so we can, use them to the maximum extent of their volumes, if you will. We want to fill those up on ordinary storm basis, and then there's a low outlet that's smaller in diameter that will empty them entirely after the storms. And these systems are lined underground. They have like a landfill liner surrounding them, so there's no mix between the stormwater and the landfill material in these areas. One thing that's a little bit different than what you had seen on the plan previously is on the west side of the building. We originally had parking. Now we just have a fire truck loop to get around the building. There will not be regular car traffic going around there, and that's so that pedestrian walkway shares space with the fire lane over on that side of the building. I'd be happy to take any questions you might have. Thank you.
Okay. Steph?
Sure. So just generally, we've met with the applicants team several times over the past months, with them and with DEP on a couple occasions as well. When we first met with DEP and the applicant to review the proposed changes to Building 4 and the associated impacts that had on the stream relocation that was previously proposed in the wetland area, creation area that was previously proposed. One of the things that we asked for was really just kind of like a maximum effort in restoring the existing stream channel, both in terms of improvement to the bank and the buffer zone landscaping around that. Because what was part of a big sell for this when it came through initially in terms of issuing the discretionary allowance for activity within the 15 and structure within the 30 was all the wetland creation that was being done. So we wanted to make sure that there was still good restoration and improvement of the wetland resource areas on the site as part of the amendment requests. So we're happy to see the changes and or the plans that were prepared, kind of really highlighting a lot of those items that we raised early on, including the replacement of the pipe, because that was another question that we had, if that was going to be something that was needed, if that stream was going to stay in its existing alignment. So overall, no major concerns with the new alignment and plan for wetland restoration. We're still in the midst of a detailed review, and apologies for not getting comments to you guys in advance of this meeting. I don't anticipate that we're going to have a lot of comments. We had a very lengthy comment letter the first time this came through, so I think we've kind of looked at this in detail starting from the beginning, and probably aren't going to have too much to add to that. We did recommend that the applicant come into tonight's meeting ready to continue the hearing with the intention of resuming discussion at a later date. We had an interdepartmental review team meeting where the various city departments had the opportunity to comment on the plans. I believe it's filed with planning board and on an upcoming agenda, so we want to make sure that we capture any changes that other boards or departments want to see in these plans before we get to a point where we approve them. We also need to rework some of the sequencing conditions that we had built into the order of conditions related to the order in which the work was going to go down. We had a lot more detailed sequencing conditions for this project than we typically do, just given its complexity and the amount of kind of alteration or improvement to wetland resource areas on site. I don't think that's going to be too big of a lift. It's really kind of just the beginning section of the project that we're going to have to rework, but I think based on the phasing plans that were submitted, that should be definitely doable. And again, we can run those by the applicant once we have those prepared to make sure that that seems feasible logistically. So yeah, we anticipate potentially issuing some additional minor comments once we've completed the detailed review. But again, no major concerns at this time. Based on the impression that I got from the last conversation with DEP, it seems like DEP is satisfied as well. There were some questions they raised about just some of the bypass measures during the restoration process, and it sounded like the team was going to make a few changes to that plan to kind of address those concerns, but it didn't sound like they were even necessarily planning on issuing further comments at this point. So logistically, the way we understand this would proceed is if the commission is satisfied with these plans and ends up issuing an amended order of conditions approving them, ultimately DEP would withdraw their intervention. And then the order of conditions from the Conservation Commission would stand. The commission would remain the issuing authority for disapproval under the Wetlands Protection Act. So I think that's it for me for today. I guess before turning it back to the commission, I would just ask does the applicant have a future meeting date they'd prefer to continue to? Would the next meeting on the 4th be the ideal target?
Yes, through the chair, I can confirm we have an appointment with the planning board on April 22nd for a public hearing. And we have an appointment with the zoning board of appeal on April 27th. That it does seem possible if we get through that board of appeals, though, we would be in a position to, make any final changes prior to that meeting, Eric. Thank you.
Okay, great, thanks. Yeah, so that's it for me. Happy to answer any questions if the commission has anything for staff.
Commissioners, any questions? I'm going to have like 100 questions about that pipe, but I'm going to wait. So is there a motion to continue?
Oh, please tell us your questions. We'll be
No,
prepared
no,
to answer them.
we've already been here for over 2 hours. I want to make sure everybody can at least get some dinner tonight.
A motion to continue.
Well, if you'd like to send them in writing through Eric, we'd appreciate that. We
I
can
will.
try to answer them for you.
Thank you.
Second.
Commissioner Canton,
Aye.
Commissioner Kirschner,
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom,
Aye.
Commissioner Fertoni, aye. We will see you at our next meeting.
Thank
Awesome.
You. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Commission. Have a
Thank
good one.
you. You too. Okay, on to other business, request for certificate of compliance. First one, 73 Sophia Drive.
All right, so 73 Sophia Drive, this is a partial certificate of compliance request. So this is one half of a duplex located up in the Arboretum subdivision that never got closed out. So it kind of came up during a real estate transaction. So they're just looking to get a partial certificate of compliance.
Motion to issue the partial certificate of compliance.
Second.
Commissioner Canton,
Aye.
Commissioner Kirschner,
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom,
Aye.
Commissioner Fertoni, aye. 72 James Street.
All right, so we should have some applicants online. All right, and Rick, you should be able to unmute yourself.
Okay, thank you. So my name is Rick Hanavan. I'm an environmental scientist with Time Bond. Mike Travato, also with Time Bond, is on. This project is we're looking to get a certificate of compliance for this parcel. The work was done. This order was issued in 2007. The work was completed in by early 2008. That was the capping of contaminated sediment and soils under under an engineered cap. The cap is now primarily fence storage, and because the cap has a riprap slope between the edge of the wetland and pavement, part of the management of that engineered cap to protect the contaminated material below the surface is vegetation management. So The owner has come before the commission in like 2018. I don't have the date in front of me for RDA for vegetation management, but this time we're both trying to get the older order closed out with this submission, and then would hope to come back to the commission to file a notice to allow for just ongoing maintenance as required by the conditions for the cap. And so that work is in buffer zone. You know, that's really the motivation for trying to close this out, other than the fact that it's, you know, well over 10 years that's been kind of unresolved, even though the project has had review from the state on the cleanup side. It's really just kind of trying to close this open piece of that work out so that we can move forward with the management of the cap.
Okay, staff?
Yep, so staff conducted a site visit on April 7th, just to review the site. Also a letter was issued from a professional engineer signing off on that it was constructed in compliance with the approved plans. An as-built plan also has been provided. So staff doesn't have any concerns at this point with the issuance of a certificate of compliance.
Thank you. Commissioners? Nope. Devin, I think you're
Good.
there.
Make a
You go.
motion. Yeah. I'll make a motion to issue the certificate of compliance.
Second.
Commissioner Canton,
Aye.
Commissioner Kirschner,
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom,
Aye.
Commissioner Frattoni, aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, enforcement orders.
Yep, so we sadly do have one new enforcement order that was added, our first one of the year. So this is at 612 Grove Street. So looks like last November, December, they did install a driveway without any permits. It is within the 30-foot buffer. So staff did issue an enforcement order requiring that they have a wetland scientist come out and review the area, determine how much impact it has on the buffer and what needs to be done to restore it. There's also 2 storage sheds located pretty close to the Delaney Brook here, and you can see there's some disturbed soil, so we did require that they install straw wattles immediately to prevent any of that sediment from moving into the brook, with some rain coming in the forecast now that we're in spring. But yeah, so at this time we're just looking for the commission to ratify the enforcement order. We did require that the owner come into our next May 4th meeting, but just looking to ratify the enforcement order.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Canton,
Aye.
Commissioner Kirschner,
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom,
Aye.
Commissioner Frattoni, aye. Okay, are there updates on any other enforcement orders?
Nope, no
Okay.
updates. Yep.
Okay, open space discussion.
All right, so staff has settled on Parsons Cider Mill for our Earth Day cleanup. So that will be this coming Saturday. Our plan is to meet at 9 a.m. and to go to about noon. Our plan is to meet on Merchant Street and park along there. So if you'd like to join us, feel free. But there's also a bunch of other locations throughout the city that you're more than welcome to sign up and join. So if you're not doing anything this Saturday, come on out and clean up Worcester.
What's the forecast? It's supposed to be
I think it's good. It's actually, it's not going to rain for the
Okay.
first time in a couple of years. So
all
that's
right.
exciting.
So you're starting at 9.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's see. Any discussion of active projects?
Nothing for staff.
Minutes to approve?
Yep. So we have the March 23rd, 2026 minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Canton,
Aye.
Commissioner Kirschner,
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom,
Aye.
Commissioner Frattoni, aye. Let's see, anything on the wetland protection ordinance and regs?
Nothing this meeting for a little and schedule we were hoping to be on. I was aiming to get the regulation update draft done by this meeting. We've had a large uptick in other work over the past month, so that kind of has been put on the shelf for the past few weeks, but I'm aiming to pick that back up again and hope to get an update by the next meeting.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, commission liaison update. So Lindsay, anything on CPA?
No, nothing new. We're meeting next week, I believe.
And anything on Quinsig Commission?
Nope, nothing new. But we'll be meeting the last Wednesday of the month. So next meeting I might have something new.
Do we have any other liaison positions that I'm?
Nope.
Okay. And then policies, procedures?
Nothing from staff at this time.
Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mhm.
Have a good night. This
Night,
went pretty
everyone.
well.
Pretty good for 14 hearings. Yep.
Right.
Okay, good job.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good
Yep.
night.